when I was consulting and when I sold $7.5 million worth of online courses in 6 months, what I used was a framework for sales, and I'm going to give it to you now. So that framework was called SPAAM. And one of the guys that I worked with, he said, hey, look, one of the guys I worked with, he said, here is this framework you can use for sales. It's called SPAAM. And I said, well, that's interesting. I'd like to know more about it. Tell me about it, because my sales was already going well. But once I started using SPAAM, it got so much better. So what is this SPAAM? SPAAM is you ask the person that you're talking with, you're consulting with. So you're sitting down at the table, you want to get comfortable. And let me talk you first through that. So first, let's just talk through the scenario. You're knocking someone's door or you're meeting someone in person. So you knock on the door, you find a place where they're more comfortable. So you would ask them, your one-liner or whatever it is. So mine was, do you know of anybody looking for work or looking to study from home? And then I went from, do you know of anybody looking for work or looking to study from home, to, if they say, oh, me, because I'm not asking, are they looking for work? Are they looking for someone to are they looking to study from home? I'm asking, do they know of anybody? And they would say, well, what about me? So then I'd say, well, do you have somewhere that you're more comfortable to sit down with? Like, let's go sit somewhere comfortable. So we'd sit somewhere comfortable, and then I would ask them, I would say, what's the situation? So I'd start with SPAAM, S-P-A-A-M, SPAAM. What's the situation at the moment? I'd say, oh, I'm not working, or, this is what's going on. Okay, great. Things are happening and we'd like to make some changes in life. Okay, great, that's the situation. What problems is this causing? So that's P. So we start with S for SPAAM and then start with P. What problems are this causing? Oh, it's causing not being able to afford rent, or this, that, or whatever. Not having a job or not having a business is causing these problems. Okay, so that's the second one, P. A, what's going to happen if you do not take action? So this is the pain point. What's going to happen if you do not take action? Oh, well, we're not going to be able to do this or that or whatever, and you're going to miss out on these things. Okay, so how painful is that out of 1 to 10? They would say 10. Or, a lot of the time they'd say 10. I'm just giving you an example. So if they say, it's an 8 or it's a 10, well, it's pretty painful. Then we would go to the next A. So we're still doing SPAAM. The next A would be, what's going to happen if you do take action? How good is it going to be if you succeed? Oh, really good. Like the difference would be from having very painful, not doing anything at all, to doing something and succeeding and it being very pleasurable. So they're like, well, that's going to be pleasurable, so I'd like to do that. So that's A. And then M is, what does it mean? What's it going to mean for you to be able to provide for your children? What's it going to mean for you to specifically be able to have that business that you want, that you explained in the situation? You said you wanted to have your own business. So that's SPAAM. And that really was an awesome framework for sitting down and consulting with people. With SPAAM, I did about $7.5 million worth of sales. So just learning that alone and just asking, what's the situation? What problems is this causing you? For P. A, what's going to happen if you do take action? If you don't take action? A again, what's going to happen if you do take action? And M, what is it going to mean? So that's where I had a lot of my success, working with, doing contracting, working with someone else. And, I had the guy that was the admin. I'd ring him up and I did the door-to-door stuff. I was out in field. But that was my experience. So, this experience that I'm talking about, my YouTube channel, going from zero to multi-millions, I'm just basically sharing and documenting the process so that I can say these are the things that I have done. and the mentors that help me along the way, they're going to help you as well. So you get to follow along, and you also get to have the value solving the problems. A lot of the time, starting a business is not about having the money. It's about having the ideas and, you know, getting a niche and getting an idea of who you're going to serve. You know, are they going to be business owners? Because there's a story that a guy said. He said, look, if you sell chairs to the customers only need so many chairs. But if you sell chairs to places that are furniture shops, they always need an inventory of more furniture. So you're always going to be able to sell more furniture to these businesses. So having the right customer changes everything. You know, who is your customer? And that's the situation. Maybe the situation, we can use SPAAM on you right now. What's the situation for you? We can help you with SPAAM. What's your situation? Your situation is maybe you have a business or you do not have a business, and you know you would like to make some changes in your life. What problems is this causing? Well, there's probably plenty of problems this is causing in your life where, you know, you'd like to make a change. You'd like to have, you know, maybe you'd like to run your own business, or you've got your own business. You'd like better leads, lower costs of leads. You know, you've got some sort of problem that we need to solve. Right? Maybe you'd like location independent income where you can travel and you've always got income. Having an online business. And then we look at A. So what's it going to mean if you take action? I mean, if you do not take action, it means nothing's going to change, or it's going to get worse. What's going to happen if you do take action? That's A again. You know, things are going to get better, right? And what's it going to mean for you if things get better? It's going to mean you're living the life you want to live. Is that true? So that's how you use SPAAM, and it's a really good sequence of questions to ask. And I found that, you know, that's the thing. I made $7.5 million of sales in 6 months. The company was like, you're on your own if you're going to start selling, and you know, if you're going to start selling in a different state, because I wasn't going to the meetings. And eventually they said, can you train us? So I was really shocked, because I started doing so well that I was doing better than 17 of the guys that were actually doing the training with each other. And I didn't think I was going to do as well as everybody else, but I really put a lot of effort in. And the customers were different. I went to a different place. You know, I knew the customers. I knew, that was the first thing, I knew my customer. Anyway, that's SPAAM. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.